Folks, welcome to another exciting episode of Locker Room Talk. We have a very special guest.
Yes.
Oh, my God. As always, the love of my life, Kelly Taylor.
Oh, I thought that was going to be me.
Oh, come on, man. You're a good kid, but you'll always be second place as long as Juice is in the here.
Hell yeah, I'm ahead of Bobby.
That's right, baby. And speaking of, we also have a special guest. Oh, my God, I can't believe it.
Host one half of the Risque Business podcast, May Planert
Hello,
here.
good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, we're very happy to have you. And just like you requested, Bobby Sheehan is thousands of miles away. So this is
I killed him.
Yeah, this is a safe podcast.
Yeah.
As always, ladies, I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you. I'll always protect you from people I do a podcast.
Thank God for you.
Thank
and
God for
Finn,
me.
And Finn.
You know it.
Holding it down. And Bubs.
And the whole family. We got the whole family here.
Kelly, is
do.
there any story, not necessarily physically, but any story where Joe has come to your defense in some way? Or has he only ever piled on of whatever was happening? That's what I imagine.
You know, when there is trouble afoot, I spring into action, and Joe is kind of just left. What just happened?
Oh, so
he's
have
not
you
really-
defended Joe?
We've never actually had an instance where we've had to defend each other.
Yeah.
No, we've always been.
Right?
It's like it.
We're both very passive. When
You
it
guys
comes
are
to-
pretty even keeled.
Yeah, I think, but in terms of danger, not danger, in terms of like crisis,
Yeah.
like I've always just had the ability, like Finney used to have seizures and I don't know what kicks in, but like the first time I saw him having a seizure, I just like knew what to do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, or like one time my roommate.
What do you do?
Buy a new dog.
Call your mom. The very first thing I did was call my mom. And
Who's a
thank God-
nurse?
Who's a nurse?
A
which
human
is why I
nurse.
thought
Yeah,
to call
not an
her.
animal nurse.
Well, that's even more qualified than a
Right.
fucking.
I was like,
vet.
I didn't know he was having a seizure when it first happened.
Oh.
And I also was in the shower. So I'm
Oh my
suds
God.
up and nude. And Jess is useless. She actually was sleeping in
That
my
was
bed.
your old roommate.
Yeah, my old roommate. She was sleeping in my bed because the night before, Finn mysteriously had diarrhea all over her bed, which was weird.
Mysteriously.
So I knew something was afoot.
It was Kelly.
Yes, a precursor to a seizure.
Yeah, he
Diarrhea.
definitely. the poor guy.
Damn,
I
I'm
might
about
be
to
having
have
a seizure in a minute.
I'm
Yeah.
about to have seizure every time I eat Chipotle.
And so she just was sitting in the bed screaming. And so I scooped him up. I held him real tight, and I called my mom, and I was like, he's dying. She's like, no, he's having a seizure. And that's where I get it from my mom. My mom is like very good in a crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you just hold him till it's over, and then he like sneaks off and hides under the bed.
Oh,
I
no.
First thing I do is hide.
It started with Kelly saying how good she is in a crisis. Like, what do? I call someone who's good in a crisis.
Yeah. You got to know the next step. One time, for every so often when there's a change in season, we'll get ants in that room. And so Joe had some ants by his desk, and we found some like not cleaner, like exterminator stuff. And so he was spraying it, and some got in his eye. And he didn't know what to do. He was just screaming in pain. And so I just like ran in, and I took him over to the sink, and without even telling him, I just like started flushing his eyes
Holy
out with
shit.
the
You saved my
hose.
life.
Wow.
And
I
Saved
could have
your
died.
eyes.
I could have been blind.
Oh, it was
How
your
gross would that have been if I was a disabled comedian?
you would have been
Sickening,
you would have
right?
been a single disabled comedian.
I'd have to fucking go on stage wearing glasses and can anyone point me? And then the host has to awkwardly guide my hand to the fucking
Yeah.
mic stand.
Let me
Gross,
The
right?
curtains come open. You're facing the wrong way.
There is,
Like,
there is a blind guy I just saw like at a few open mics this
Yuck.
past weekend.
Really?
Yuck.
He went up and did a bunch of jokes about being a Mets fan, so I opened by saying if I were a Mets fan, I'd want to be blind too.
Uh-oh.
That's not bad.
And then he posted, and like I saw him, he did like one of the early open mics on Saturday at like the Comedy Shop.
Yeah.
And then he posted in the Facebook group, where are their open mics? And the first comment I saw was from Joe telling him what open mics to go to.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I tried
You
to...
didn't know he was blind. There's no
I didn't
way.
know he was,
You would have
uh,
never responded if you did.
It was...
This is just a stupid question. I'm like, how's he posting on the internet?
it has to be...
If
I
he's
have
blind.
great accessibility. Actually,
Maybe he's lying about being blind.
It has to be
He's just
voice
typing.
to text.
I'll tell you
Oh,
what,
yeah,
his career is gonna go way further.
But when you're scrolling on Instagram, what is it like? You just like it's just telling you the captions
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
ear, I guess.
yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy.
That's the worst version of Instagram
Probably.
ever.
I know. Oh, I wouldn't.
We
I
did a
wouldn't want
thing,
it.
star emoji,
Yeah.
and then you're just like going through. Like,
You just
hears
get
a
a
bunch of-
get a thing in your ear. This is a thirst trap.
Yeah, right.
Stupid
Just like,
hoe
yeah,
needs
tell me
attention.
more.
If there was ever a time to have a touch screen that you could feel everything, huh? Relax, Matt. Damn, I bet like your sense of touch is like even better as a blind person. But
Your other
Probably.
senses are supposed to be like strong. You can smell a thirst trap, probably.
yikes.
Yeah, like does someone who's not blind know how to read Braille?
I bet. I mean,
You could probably
guess.
learn, but who
Probably,
wants to learn?
yeah. Probably people who have like friends or family members
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
blind.
yeah.
Same way like people know sign language if they know someone who's deaf.
Yeah, but you'd only need Braille if you were gonna like fucking read their journal or some shit. Like, why would you need to? You wouldn't need to read Braille. Like,
I
to-
guess, yeah.
like sign
you don't need
language.
to communicate with them with
Si-
Braille.
I mean,
yeah.
you could theoretically communicate through like fucking waving your hands around and drawing shit, but sign language, like, it's functional. Braille is almost like. Unless you're blind, I don't see a need to.
Yeah,
understand.
I do kind of
No.
want to read a blind person's diary now that you mention it.
Dire of a mad
Just
blind woman.
scribbles.
I can't see shit.
It is a black blind man.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
We had a family friend growing up. The whole family was blind.
Whoa.
What? Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Was
Yeah,
it like
my-
an accident that
Yeah,
took
I
them
don't
all out?
understand. So
No,
like
no,
two
no, they were
blind people
born-
fucked, and then they were born blind. The kids.
Well,
Yes.
they
They all
weren't
had, like,
married when they
did-
had sex, so God struck them with
Whoa.
blindness.
No, they
That makes
actually
more
were
sense.
deeply religious, which I was gonna say. The woman we would go over her house, which was filthy,
creepy.
by the way,
Of course.
Really?
filthy,
Oh.
and
But it smelled nice, I bet.
it was horrible.
Oh, wow.
And,
Her Roomba was blind also.
this is way before Roombas, and it would have
A blind hoarder.
whatever. I only bring it up to say she was typing the Bible in Braille.
Yikes.
Whoa.
Yeah, family friends.
Weird blind people that you know.
I know. My dad has weird
the
friends.
religious blind people.
You
Yeah.
would think that their house would be spotless because you got to know where everything is. So it's like you put it back in the exact fucking
No,
spot. But I
There's
guess
shit
not.
everywhere.
But then again, like, if you don't have to like
Damn.
look how messy your house is, you just have to know how to get around.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, who cares?
But what if you're like looking for the fucking paprika and you're like,
It-
okay, well,
I bet it's like, I bet having a messy room as a blind person is if you go into like a regular house and people are like, ooh, the aura's so weird in here. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't see no goddamn aura. Get the fuck out of here, dude. My house is fine. Like, they just need the function. 'Cause they're-
Yeah.
And I assume, like, you know, if you're going to bring somebody back, you're probably thinking they're either blind or they're going to fuck a blind person. So they can't have high standards.
That's true.
It's like, I bring somebody back to my house and they're like, oh, your room is fucking disgusting. I'm like, well, I'm blind, so you're going to have sex with a disabled person
Yeah.
who's the real freak, you know?
Have you
I'm
guys
like a self-deprecating blind guy. Like, it's like, hey, I know this is fucking gross, right? You want to see my eyes? I keep like threatening to pull my shades up,
Yeah.
show my disgusting blind eyes to people. You hate that, right?
It's
It's
not that
weird.
gross.
It's fucking weird.
Blind,
the blind
guy who negs women is like, you feel hideous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't even want to touch your face to see how you look.
that episode of Curb where Larry runs into his friend that's blind and he's like, Larry, I'm dating a model, and the woman's hideous.
Oh,
but she
yes.
just
And
tells
she's,
him
and
that-
she's like,
yeah, it's just like,
shut the fuck up. Yeah.
nice to meet
Yeah,
you,
who
Larry.
needs to know?
Yeah.
Who needs to know?
Damn.
It's like that.
I
That
would
was the
wanna
whole
know.
point of Shallow Hal, which is
Yeah.
like, wouldn't everyone
I
be
fucking
happier?
love that movie.
Why?
That is a great movie.
It's such a funny movie. It, like, I went back and rewatched it recently, and I'm like, this like couldn't be made now. It
No,
could
of
not,
course not. I
'cause
love
the
that
jokes
Gwyneth
they
Paltrow is
made.
a girl in
I know.
it too. I'm like, that. Good for her.
and it's like
I
they just put
know.
her in like this fat. Like they wouldn't even find like an overweight
well,
actress for
the
it.
moral of the
Not
story.
at that time.
It's crazy. It is. You couldn't make that movie today, but the moral of the story is like the thing that everyone says now.
Yeah.
It's not about your appearance. It's about who you are.
But how?
Yeah.
But
fa-
actually, I mean, they couldn't even say that now because we have to pretend that appearance is actually attractive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, it's like the fucking perfect catch. Yeah, like they have like, oh, this trans woman, and like in Shallow Hal's perspective, it's a beautiful biological woman.
Right.
And they're like, how dare you fucking? There's nothing wrong with her. And it's just like some guy. Yeah, I'm fucking
Wasn't
beautiful
it-
the
it
way
was,
I
uh,
am.
No,
It
that's
was
the
Arquette. It
that's
was
the
Arquette.
that's the remake. Transphobic Hal.
It's like Tony Robbins fucking cursing, but then
Yeah.
we sue Tony Robbins.
He sees
That's
a
the
woman,
best-
but he sees a biological woman, but it's actually a trans
Yeah.
woman.
He
That's
loves
so
pussy
funny.
because of it, and his friends
Yeah.
are like, yeah, it's like, but then it's like it's like, well, what is a trans woman? Because
Yeah.
it's just like real lazy people that just put on a dress, like, yeah, I'm a woman. How about you buy me some McDonald's? And it's like, damn, okay, come on now.
The big
Come on.
fun bit is they have to go to the bathroom, and that's the
Yeah.
big mo. Which one is he gonna choose?
The
Oh,
best
man.
bit from Shallow Hal, though, is like the start of it all, which is Tony Robbins having the power to control his mind.
Yes.
Like, that is the funniest bit of it all.
Yeah.
It's like, because then he went on to have this illustrious career doing just that. Of like,
He said the
convince-
N-word, though. I remember that.
Tony Robbins?
Tony Robbins
in the
said
movie or in general?
Just in the movie.
Oh, wait,
Did he
in
say
the movie,
it?
really?
No, not really.
Oh, I was
No.
like, what
How
the fuck?
wild would that be?
I was
That's
like,
part of
damn,
his
you really
I was like, I
can't
don't
make that movie
remember that.
anymore.
His name, no, the actor was Jack Black, not Jack. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Anyway.
I do want to love movies where there's like, I loved the premise of Good Luck Chuck.
Oh,
That Dane
yeah,
Cook-
great.
Yeah.
I don't remember that
I
one.
That was
never
Dane
watched that
Cook. It's
one.
like a curse was put on. It's like what is it? They were like as a kid at like a party. There was a spin the bottle and he wouldn't kiss a girl. I think it was.
I don't remember what
something
the
like that.
impetus
And then
of
she
it,
puts a
yeah.
curse on him that every woman he ever dates will fall in love and marry the next person they date
Oh.
after him.
How is that
Yeah.
a bad thing? If that were the case, I would date as many women as possible, so
Yeah.
that way marriages would happen all over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
really nice.
That's like, I'm gonna
You're
fucking
doing
good
charity.
guy. I just go around fucking people and be like,
Yeah.
think of me on your wedding night.
Well, then he
Yeah.
yeah he falls in love with the woman.
Oh,
And he
no.
doesn't want her to. He doesn't want to. He's afraid to date her because
Well-
he knows she's only ever
Let me
going to
guess,
fall
she's
in
way
love
out of
with
his
the
league.
next.
No, it's probably.
I think it was Jessica Simpson.
It's like it's
Is
Oh,
that,
okay.
no,
is
that's
it?
employee of
Jessica
the
Alba.
month.
Jessica
That's
Alba,
that's
one of the
yeah.
Jessicas.
But I bet like in the end it was like because he decides to fucking take a chance and like be happy that she found love anyway. The curse is lifted. Or
No,
something.
he
Something
like
about
finds.
penguins.
I think he like finds the girl that put the hex
oh,
on him
yeah. I
And-
don't
and
remember
kills
that
her?
and
deeply.
kills her. Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah, I'd kill. It's like
Yeah.
that's
You
for
know,
fucking.
Yeah, what a bitch.
yeah,
know,
that's for not
honestly.
letting me get married, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
You know,
Tommy
Dane-
Shelby
he's-
style.
You know
Fine.
Dane Cook. He's a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Did he give her the Sufi? Remember that shit?
Yeah.
It
I
was
remember
like,
that so
when you're
vividly.
so
Yep.
fucking
Oh,
mad.
yeah.
What is it? It's like it's 3 fingers.
Yeah.
That
I
was
think
a
it's like
shocker.
one of
No?
the-
That's
Oh.
this is the shocker. 2 in
Yeah.
the
Oh,
pink.
It was
Okay.
something. It was like
But
something.
Sufi is like
three-finger.
3.
Yeah.
Sufi.
I
And
remember
he would
it-
always his MySpace
lot.
of millions of
I know.
people. Remember that Sufi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? I don't remember that.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like in Vicious Circle. He's like he's in the round and he's standing on a like drawing of
Yes,
the
that was the stage.
hand motion.
That was the
yeah.
stage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
That was
crazy.
That was fucking wild.
I love
Good
that special at the
times,
time.
man.
I got to tell you, when I
Of
at
course.
that age when it came out, I was laughing my ass
I wonder
off.
if he was doing this at those game nights he had for teens a few years ago. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, who wouldn't?
Was
I
he
think
having
it's-
game nights for teens, or is that just him hanging out with his girlfriend's friends?
I think, yeah, well, I think
That's how he
both.
met his girlfriend.
I think that's how he met her.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
At he met her at game night.
I don't know. She was at the game nights when she was like fucking 15.
And he-
so
Wait,
he
I don't
waited-
know. I didn't know
You
the
do not
origin
know
of
about
this.
this?
I
Okay.
know he was
Nice.
dating a young girl, but I didn't know.
So this is all
yeah.
allegedly.
I believe
Okay.
her name is Kelly as well.
So
Uh-oh, juice.
there's all these photos of them like at he would host game nights. Which
Nice.
like the very premise of that is like, all right, what are we doing here?
What kind of
And-
games?
Yeah, I
It
don't
depends
know.
on what games.
Hey man, if he had Fortnite, I'd be there too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Dane, pass me a controller and an underage girl.
I'm more-
Where are we dropping?
I'm more-
Folks, follow me
yeah.
on Discord and fucking play Fortnite with me.
No, I'm
but
more
don't be an
into
underage
the-
kid.
I want the fucking like
Or do, I don't
the
know.
games
Yeah.
I played when I was a teenager. Like I want some Uno and Sorry. Like
Naked
I don't want any
Twister.
of this Settlers of Catan nerd
Gross,
shit.
dude. I
No.
don't want to have like
Yeah.
old people fucking like this is what I played when I was your age.
Yeah.
You gotta like
I
what
don't
these
want-
kids are fucking playing.
I don't want
now.
to do a Dungeons and Dragons. I want to do like exploding kittens. or
Number one
something.
rule of a Dane Cook teenage game night is easy rules.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
we can't do anything.
Can't confuse these teenage
Yeah, with
kids.
a lot of not a lot of thoughts, a lot of clicking, rolling dice, spinning
Yeah.
of dials.
First rule, keep it simple. Second rule, no one makes fun of the hairline.
Yes.
Ooh, is it bad?
Totally.
Is
I don't
hairline?
know. That's just part of like being like an
Oh.
older guy.
Yeah.
Just like those insecurities.
But wait, so
He's
he
probably
would
got
just host
plugs.
game nights, and she would come when
And
she was
would
15.
come.
Ooh.
Yes. So
Ha-
then there's photos of her when she was like 15 there, and then I've seen them before, and then so there'll be like a little arrow like this is her then, and then
Nice.
they started dating when she was 18. But
well,
it's
that's
like,
convenient then.
Very
It's
convenient.
very
What a fucking-
convenient.
What
I
a
know.
gentleman.
What a nice guy.
If I was Dane Cook, I'd be like, whatever. I was on iTunes. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have sex with a fucking child. But instead, he's like, no. Now that Louis C.K. has fallen from grace and he's the rightful owner of the itchy asshole bit. It's only fair. Remember that? Like 2 grown men were fucking arguing over who wrote a bit about an itchy asshole.
Yeah.
And like they both like got in trouble, like, oh, you guys are both fucking. And it's like, well, who owned
so
the fucking
funny.
bit? 2 guys are like, oh, it's parallel thinking. Like everyone's fucking weighing in on it. And then they did that episode on Louis where he fucking confronted him about it. And then like Dane, you think you're the only guy who had an itchy asshole? And it's like, who cares, dude? You don't
It's
talk
true.
about that, dude.
Yeah.
But
I would always think like I wanted to fucking put something in my ass to appease this guy.
Right.
I
Yeah.
would
Oh,
always-
don't do.
Yeah.
No. I
Well,
have
what-
that. I
what
have
was-
that bit, Joe. You can't do that.
About getting fucked
Putting
in the
corn up
ass.
your
Yeah.
ass.
You wrote a bit
Yeah.
about getting
I have.
fucked in the
I
ass.
have the bit about getting fucked in the ass, Joe. You can't take that from me.
You're the only comic
Yes.
ever. But no, Dane Cook's brother stole all his money.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, let him fuck
And
these
he
girls.
like buried it in the
whatever.
desert or something. He like won't tell him
Yeah.
where it is.
I know.
Uh-oh.
Buried
He pulled
in
a-
the desert.
He pulled a Bobby Sheehan saying, I'll handle all of the money for your
Yes.
podcast, and don't worry, it'll all come out in the wash.
Yeah, all the Patreon money for Locker Room Talk is also buried in a desert. It's not a very deep hole, but it's buried there.
Where's my 75 cents?
So was it like an open game night to just anyone, and she was just a fan who started coming?
Whoever had him in their top 8.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
On
No,
MySpace
I didn't-
that was a
or-
MySpace.
Oh,
Oh,
joke.
okay,
That
okay.
did
I did not know that.
land.
No, I thought
that was his whole thing, was he would interact with fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first started comedy,
Brilliant.
I messaged him. And I was
course.
like,
Yeah.
do you have any tips?
That's
What did he-
so funny.
And then like he never responded. I'm like, this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Kicking him out.
That's
but
hilarious.
I was also doing comedy in like 07, 08 that I didn't like Dane Cook because I was part of like the alt comedy of, Patton Oswalt and Zach Galifianakis and like the comedians of comedy where I was like, this is what's up. And then of
Yeah.
course Patton Oswalt killed his wife.
Yeah,
And
he
I'm
did
no
kill
longer
his
a fan.
wife.
Allegedly. But the fucking numbers maybe check out. So that's
Those
what I
text
always-
messages are fucking weird.
Yeah.
Is it,
Wait,
uh,
what text message?
I refilled your Adderall prescription.
Yeah, so she was writing a book at the time of her death, and she was
Yeah.
like really going for
But
it,
it
like
was also-
stressing herself the fuck out, and then it was like all this weird shit that where it was like, oh, I'm gonna check into a hotel to like get this done, and he was like, yeah, you go, babe, you go check into that hotel, like
almost
get
done
the
with
fuck
it.
out of
Write
my house.
it.
And then so he's like texting her, being basically, she's like, I'm about to fucking lose my mind. I'm about to snap. Like I need a break, whatever. And he's like, keep going, babe. You can do it. Refill that Adderall. I don't know if that's his direct quote.
No.
But like basically like do whatever it takes. You got this. And it was like very like aggressive. And then
Yeah.
she overdosed on pills and fucking died.
Man, I'm glad I never opened for that guy.
So yeah. And then he started dating another woman
Like
like
a few
15
months
minutes
later.
Who
later.
looked exactly like
Yeah,
her.
they look very
Yes.
much alike.
I'm
So-
like, you mean to tell me that you met this woman, started dating her, and are now engaged like within a year, and there wasn't any overlap? I don't think so. I think you were checking her into that hotel.
And isn't it the irony?
It's all alleged.
Yeah. This is all a bit, folks.
Patton
Patton
Oswalt,
Oswalt.
come on the podcast and tell your side of the story. And until then, we'll see you in court,
But
dude.
they put out this documentary about it, and they're just like releasing all these texts, and they were like,
I
"Oh,
know,
what,
this-
what a doting man." I'm like, is no one else seeing what I
Feels
just saw?
incriminating. Yeah.
That was insane.
Wasn't she also like writing a book about a true crime case? Like it
yeah,
was
the Golden State
all-
Killer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
cracked the
apparently
case.
Maybe Patton
Pretty
Oswalt. Maybe Patton Oswalt is part of the conspiracy to cover up the real Golden State Killer.
Anything's
Maybe he's
possible.
the Golden State Killer.
Maybe.
It's like a mystery within a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Crazy.
Man, that alt comedy of like 08,
Yeah.
the late 2000s was fucking stupid in hindsight.
Yeah.
Because it was just about like everyone was kind of like biting like Patton Oswalt style of like, oh, I'm a fucking nerd, but I'm kind of a cool guy and I like comic books.
Yeah.
But
When I
also
started, there
party.
was a lot of specific references to comic book stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
And I didn't. I started like 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And around then, yeah, there was a lot of like at the Creek, it was a lot of we're doing these references. There was a lot of I felt like everyone just didn't like me because I looked like I played sports and bullied them.
Yeah.
I did play sports, but I was bad at them.
Yeah.
So,
That gives you a pass.
yeah, but there was a lot of Louis clones. Everyone was doing Louis. There was some Patton in them, but I watched Comedy Central and stand-up, but I wasn't like a real stand-up nerd that I didn't know everyone's bit. People would talk about their favorite albums of comics, and I didn't know
Yeah.
any of that. I wasn't that into it. I was sports obsessed. I knew
Yeah.
every World Series winner, but I didn't know
Yeah.
every one of Patton Oswalt's albums and which jokes were on which ones.
Neither do I. to be
Yeah.
honest
They
with
I
you.
were
don't know that.
feeling kind of Patton and Werewolves and Lollipops
Yeah.
were the good ones.
Yeah.
And I stopped listening after that. But I feel like you can like be like a fan of comedy when you first start, but then like after you really start getting into comedy yourself, you kind of fall off.
Oh yeah,
The
I
joy
hate
of-
watching comedy. To be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Yeah.
if I like show up early to a show and I'm like, you mean I have to sit here and watch these comics? Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get to see a free live stand-up comedy show. This is amazing.
Really? No, I was like, are you serious?
I say that, but I don't.
Everyone's I don't. It's not necessarily the comedian's act I'm interested in, but rather the reaction they get from the audience.
Yeah.
I like to see that. I'm like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, what's
Right,
working.
Like what I like watching with comedy isn't necessarily like, I'm watching fucking comedy. You said a funny thing, but seeing like, oh, okay, figuring like, I wonder how he thought of that one,
Yeah.
or
yeah.
she, how they thought of that. Because I watch female
No,
comedians
they. It's just
too.
a she's and
Yeah.
he's.
yeah. No. I like
When
to
Kelly
go.
gives me permission to watch
Right.
female
Oh
comedians.
yeah. We have a
No,
very
I-
select list.
I always watch because I like opening with the riff more than just trying to think of whatever I want to do as an opening joke. I like riffing on something that's happened, so it forces me to pay attention to other comedians. And
Yeah.
I can be, and then
Yeah.
I
I do
can
that when I host.
And actually, it makes me feel better because I do like a lot of other comedians. And
Yeah.
if I didn't have something in it for me, I would never listen to their
Yeah.
sets.
Oh, always.
Yeah, like
No, completely.
ideally, the ideal situation is you walk into a venue, you immediately go on stage, do your act, and leave as soon as it's over.
Yeah.
Like
that is
zero waiting.
luxury.
No,
Yeah.
no socializing.
Yeah.
No, maybe like saying
You say
hi
hello,
to a friend.
hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get out.
Oh,
of it.
hey, how you doing?
How's
It's
it
like, all right,
going?
I gotta go do my thing.
Yeah.
15 minutes, done and done. You're out the door. Thank you. Goodbye. And you just leave. You thank everyone.
That's
Nah.
great.
And
I
you
I
go.
like hanging out with comics.
No, you don't.
I mean, I want to do sets also. I wouldn't never like if the choice is hang or do comedy. I choose do comedy. But
Yeah.
I like hanging out with comics too.
I
I know
don't.
Joe just wants to come home and play Switch. But
I just want to play video. I want to play video games. Period.
yes.
But yeah, I love video games. I'd rather do video games and hang out with my sweet Gumar. And if I was in a car accident and they said you can choose between playing video games and being with your sweet Gumar and doing stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
I would say just pull the plug and let me die.
Can't make that choice.
So I always felt like before I did comedy, it was almost like a crapshoot of whether like certain friends would be cool with certain jokes or certain topics. Even
Yeah.
people who I got along with, like you'd have like kind of a close circle, but then sometimes you're going to meet new people and they may not be able to do that. Like comics, you can always kind of
Yeah.
say whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't
I
know,
always feel
sometimes.
like
real comics you should be
Yeah.
able to. And like, you know what? If they don't, who gives a shit? Like if they stop
It's-
being your friend
yeah.
over a fucking joke,
That's
Yeah.
who gives
ridiculous.
a fuck, dude?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
well, I guess we weren't friends to begin with because my real friends know I have nothing but hate in my heart
Yeah.
and a desire to see the rise of the white race.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you're going too far. You know? Get out of town.
You're
Relax.
not going far
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what
So.
sucks about bombing in front of friends that make their way to a show, because especially if you're talking about something that you know that they won't agree with on like a conversational level and that joke bombs, it's just like, oh well, now you're just a unfunny bigot. But
Right,
if the joke worked, then it's like, I guess this is comedy.
I remember someone telling me there was a joke that I knew that person didn't like the kind of the premise of it, and he told me I've seen you do it at a couple mics and it hasn't worked. You should probably drop it. And I told him like it
Was
was
he
a
a
few years
comic?
ago. Yeah, it was
Oh my
years
God.
ago.
What was
I
his name?
don't want to say that. It was years ago, and I had
What's
done
what are his initials?
not doing that either. We had
Did they have all of their limbs?
yes. But I done it at Skankfest, and it did really well. And and it had done well at mics too, just not the two that guy had been at.
Okay,
And
so
that
it's a
guy
mic.
or girl had been at.
They
That
if you will.
that non-binary person.
Yes. But then, yeah, I'm like, I did it at Skankfest. They're like, yeah, but that's Skankfest. I'm like, oh, you mean a real crowd with a real audience?
Right,
Like,
right.
That pay money to go to comedy
Yeah.
shows, like that subscribe to people's
el-
Patreons.
Yeah. What else? What else are you gonna say? You know?
Yeah.
Tell
Come
me you're
on.
unsuccessful without telling me you're unsuccessful.
Yeah,
That's
Correct.
what that is.
Come
Yeah.
on, grow up.
Oh, I had a funny moment this past weekend. I
No.
was hanging out with a comic at one show, and they were telling me all about a breakup they had just been through. And it was with another comic, but they didn't tell me who it was.
Okay.
And I was going to hang out at another show and was like, why don't you come with me? Thinking I'm being a good friend. I'll invite him. We
Uh-oh.
get there. The girl who had dumped him was on stage at the show we brought to.
I'm gonna need you to name names off
Yeah.
air because I'm
Yeah.
curious now.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you know. I don't know if you would know.
We
them.
have to
Okay.
find out.
Yeah.
Let's
No,
hope.
I don't want to do that
Never
because
What's their initials?
because the guy, the guy was like really opening up to me about how sad he was about the
Oh,
breakup
no.
too.
I think I might know who you're talking about.
Well,
actually.
who do you think it is?
I'll tell you off air.
No, it's okay. You can say it here.
No,
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 Let him do that
I'm
to
not
you.
No.
doing this.
Don't
I'm
let
not
him
Don't
do
doing
fall
that
for
to you.
Joe's tricks.
I'm not doing this.
Don't worry, man. I'll get it in post.
No,
I'll
we have
totally bleep it.
we have a strict no editing rule after I made Joe edit some names out of a podcast once before.
Yeah, dude. It was like, what if she listens? It's like, well, then she truly loves you.
Yeah.
Which I also did not want.
He's afraid of falling in love. He's like, but then how will I record my podcast?
Yeah.
If I'm too busy whispering sweet nothings into my lover's ear.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it, Joe.
You find the time.
You find
Yeah.
that you make it. You do a podcast with your lover.
Prioritize.
Yeah.
Yeah. May, you're from Boston. Do you start doing comedy in Boston?
No, here.
No?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
so,
the way to do it.
Yeah, I moved here like pretty quickly after college though. So
Okay.
I've been here for like 10 years.
Where do you go to school?
I went to school at Roger Williams University, which is not a very good school.
Yeah. Isn't he like the Rhode Island guy?
Yeah, he's the Rhode Island guy. It's Rhode
Okay.
Island. Yeah.
Yeah, I just know. I've been to Rhode Island, and his name is like on so many things.
Yeah, I mean,
he
it
was
was
like,
great.
was he like a Quaker?
I think so.
Is that his thing?
Right.
Not
Yeah.
a shaker. You know
Not
about
a
the
shaker.
shakers?
Yes.
The
Yes.
shakers
Oh,
don't-
yes. This
Yeah.
is
The
hilarious.
shakers. Do you
Can
know
I
about
tell
the
you what I
Shakers?
think it is?
Yeah, please.
I feel like the Shakers are the evil equivalent of the Quakers, and everything that the Quakers stand for, the Shakers are against. So Shakers are always tearing down barns. They're renouncing Jesus Christ. They're
Making
wearing
horrible furniture.
wearing a ton of buttons. They hate oatmeal. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Shaker Oats is a no carb cereal.
Yeah. So shakers are people that don't believe in having sex, or like I don't know. They keep like recruiting people into a cult, basically.
There's-
So
I think-
I think it's like 100 shakers left.
I thought it was even less.
I think so. Last
well,
time I
because they don't,
Wikipedia'd
because
it,
they don't procreate.
Yeah.
obviously.
So like they have to recruit people. I think it was around the time of the Quakers that like that era of American history with all the religions.
like
the
super
Quaker,
Puritan and all that
yeah,
shit.
the Great Is it the Great Awakening? I think it's called something like
I don't
that.
know.
But
So-
yeah, there were Quakers and Shakers who I had heard there was a thing where there's only like 3 or 4 left because
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
But it's a small number because they can't procreate. They don't have sex at all, so they can only
They can only
exist.
shake next to each other. They
Yes.
shake.
That's
I
re-
swear to
when
God.
they pray,
they
shake.
wear
Are they
these-
Yeah.
inserted?
No. They wear like robes, and then they'll just like go and like dance and like shake.
Like dry humping,
yeah.
essentially?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
Swear
like
to
how they
God.
pray.
Fucking nerd.
They like shake as they
That's
pray.
how
or
Joe and I
something.
do it.
Yeah.
No, it's a very loving dry hump. Not some,
Yeah.
fucking- not some dirty fucking
An
shaking.
aggressive dry hump.
Not
Yeah.
not some shaking like fucking children at a 1950s public school listening to Elvis Presley for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have any shaker watchers, they're gonna be like, "Damn, May just."
Any shaker viewers?
I wonder if shakers have grown because of social media.
Well, they're just incels now.
Yeah.
I feel like once they hear about the Mormon stuff, are like, oh, I can be a soaker. I'll take soaking over shaking.
Totally.
A
Yeah,
Quaker,
yeah.
a shaker,
I'd
and a
way
soaker.
rather be a soaker.
A Quaker, a shaker, and a soaker walk into a bar.
I would, if I soak all the time, you'd be a super soaker.
A super. Yeah, there's the soaker, and then there's jump humping when you take soaking to the next level. You get a
Oh,
buddy
yeah,
to
yeah.
jump on the bed while you're
Right.
soaking.
I thought that's what soaking was, but
Soaking
that's
is just putting it in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
soaking
Just
was the
the
act
tip.
of putting it in and someone jumping.
I think that's
Yeah.
that. Oh, maybe it's both. I heard the term jump humping, so I assume that along with
That's
soaking,
that's
Yeah.
when you surprise somebody on the street.
you jump and hump them.
Yeah, you
you
jump up
jump
and
them.
A jump and hump.
Yeah,
Yikes.
the old jump and hump.
The jump and hump epidemic of the 1950s.
What an insane loophole. That's
I know.
so
Yeah.
that's creative.
Like God,
You
like
always
fuck!
find a way.
Yeah, I should have thought of that.
Yeah,
Like
well,
he
there
doesn't
was-
make any amendments to his fucking rules. So like once people find a fucking loophole, they're like, you can do this and still go into heaven. God's like, God damn it, I can't. God, like he's like, at no point does he like go back and like correct everything, put a little asterisk by a commandment or some shit.
I
He's
think
like,
I-
all right, just let it. All right, you figured it out. Just go for it.
Listen,
I like
they put
that-
enough effort into this. Good for them.
Yeah, and I do like that God says "God damn it" in Joe's mind.
Me, damn it. Yeah, dude. God's cool. God's
Yeah.
chill, man.
Yeah.
I don't believe that like fucking damn for all time.
You don't think he's a benevolent
Benevolent Yeah.
God?
I think he's just fucking chill. I think he's like kind of like, it's all good. I think it's like he's not gonna fucking damn you for all time because you do something.
The Jewish,
forever.
Old Testament Jewish God is a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's because it's like,
Hashem.
Yes, he's a
Yeah.
mother. Yeah,
Yahweh?
that's because Old Testament God is all the stuff of like, you didn't love me enough, so you're getting eaten by a whale, or or you know what, these people don't like me enough. I'm gonna flood the whole world. You're cool. You can get every animal. The one who I love the most, I'm giving the most difficult job to.
Well, that's why.
That's
then New
hardcore.
Te-
That's metal.
Yes.
That guy's metal.
Yeah, and then New Testament God is kind of like Jesus, like forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's why every Jew is terrified all the time.
Well, he had
and
kids,
nervous
so
and paranoid.
it softened him up.
Yeah.
As a child.
Well,
so.
we practice Rastafarianism.
Yeah.
In this house because it's very cool.
Yeah.
We're all about Jah and the herb that he give us from the earth, and also Batiman Bad.
Yeah. Oh. I only know that because of this podcast. You and Bobby telling me about that
I'm
song.
lost.
It's this is how Rastafarians refer to gay people.
Oh.
Bati, because like it's like really bad to be gay in Rastafari. It's funny because like they kind of glaze over that in all the Bob Marley songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And
'Cause
it's
it's
also wicked funny because it isn't the whole thing like, oh, free love, we're all gonna fuck a bunch of whoever the hell we want, but not if you're two dudes.
Yeah,
Nope.
as long
That's
as it's another is a
Yeah.
dude and a girl.
You go, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
three little birds at my window, but they better not be gay.
Oh man. But yeah, we were talking before the podcast about pride, about where you're from in Boston. Do you have Boston pride?
Yes, I do. I think I have
Yeah.
Massachusetts pride. I think.
Okay, Massachusetts pride, not just Boston.
Specifically Massachusetts. Well, because I went to high school like outside of Boston, but I grew up on Cape Cod, so it's not exactly Boston.
Oh, you grew up on I went there as a kid like almost every year because we're like middle class family from Queens.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
our
yeah.
vacations
Yeah.
are driving to get a motel in Cape Cod.
Correct. Yeah.
like,
you
his-
go to the beach
yeah.
one day with like a fucking tuna sandwich, and you're like, "This is it."
Yeah,
man.
I
This is
remember we
living.
would drive by. There were a bunch of like little huts that were all named after like different flowers,
Oh,
and those were too expensive for us, so we
Yeah,
had to go
yeah.
to the motel.
Those little huts are wicked expensive. Like you go in
Yeah.
and there's like one room and like a bathroom, but it's on the actual beach.
Yeah. It was just like a story that we ended up telling for my whole childhood of us going past and us picking out our favorite flowers and my brother being like 4 and not knowing how to pronounce any of them and saying his favorite flower was mucus.
Oh no!
And then we looked up and the last one was crocus.
Oh,
And we're like, you mean crocus? He's like, yeah, that's what I meant.
that's cute.
Like, honest mistake.
Do you remember? You probably don't remember, but what town were you in?
I just remember Cape Cod.
Okay, okay.
I don't remember specifically. I remember one year we went to Provincetown when there was
The
like
gay
a
place.
when there was a big gay parade, and
Yeah.
I was like 10. I had never seen anything naked.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh well,
I-
duh,
when I
you're
was, like,
10.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? You're
So-
not fucking a 10.
Yeah. So there were like dudes and assless chaps, and just like anything sexual weirded me out at the time.
Of course.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like if there were naked women, I would have also been weirded out.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
for
yeah.
a while, in hindsight, because I grew up in New York, and I'm like I have no problem with gay people, but for a long time, I would look back on that and be like, oh no, was I secretly homophobic back when I was 10 years old? I was
so
really
funny.
uncomfortable the first time I was around gay people. I'm like, I was 10. I would
Yeah, yeah.
You were uncomfortable
Yeah.
around adults.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And adult and assless chaps.
Do you
Yeah.
remember seeing like any drag queens?
At that parade, there was a bunch of stuff like that. One of them
Yeah.
tried reading a story to me. I said, fuck no.
You're like, this is unnatural.
Yeah.
This is the giving tree. This is about a tree that just kept giving and giving and giving. You know what it is to give?
Yeah.
It makes someone happy, Matthew. She was like fucking stroking your hair while saying that.
That's exactly
Gather
what
around,
happened,
kids.
yeah.
This is the hungry, hungry caterpillar.
Nice, dude.
Nice.
But yeah, so you grew up in Cape Cod?
I did, yes.
Okay.
But I grew up in Sandwich, so it's the town like right over the bridge. So Provincetown's still like an hour and
Okay.
change away from there,
Gotcha.
like further down the Cape. But yeah, Provincetown's really cool. Did you go to the tea dance? Probably not when you were 10.
No, I mean, I feel
Tea
like
dance is where all the like old gay guys go, and like there's like a big pier, and it's literally like a dance, and everybody dresses up and everybody bangs. I assume.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I never participated in the banging, but
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
yeah.
No, I don't remember. I think that we went there mostly when I was younger. By my teenage years, I don't remember us going on as many vacations.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those. As kids, they could just like put us in a pool or a day camp
Yeah,
somewhere,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
as teenagers, it was like I remember we went to Williamsburg, Virginia one year. I was like 12 or 13. Now I love history stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish I could do that trip again. But back then, I was bored out of my mind.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah. Well,
Yo-
except the day we went to Busch Gardens in
Oh.
Williamsburg.
Yeah, I mean,
that
that's
was awesome.
amazing.
There was a
Busch
roller
Gardens.
coaster called the Loch Ness Monster. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
We went actually, so we never took vacations either because I think because we lived on Cape Cod, my parents were like, just stick them on the beach, whatever.
Totally. Yeah, going
But-
to the beach is
Yeah,
the vacation.
it's a vacation. But I remember we went to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Did you guys ever do that?
Hershey
Yes.
Park.
Middle
Yep.
middle class vacation.
Yep.
It was
Oh, yeah.
sick.
That's where I
Yeah.
got my period the first time.
Really?
Yeah,
Yikes.
on the way to Hershey Park.
Have you been?
No.
The chocolate really came in clutch. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
I remember that's where I went on my first ever upside down roller coaster.
Oh, wow.
There was like a year or two where I got obsessed with roller coasters.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, I was like a real young kid. I was scared of any upside down roller coasters.
yeah.
And then we
I
were
mean,
at Hershey
yeah.
Park, and there was one called the Super Duper Looper. That's just
Oh.
one big loop, and the rest of the rides are normal. I had been on roller coasters, just not upside down ones.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I'm like, one loop, I can handle that, and it was awesome. And then everyone's like, we're going on the Great Bear next. I'm like, me too. And I would like Google roller coaster parks around the country. When we went to Busch Gardens, I was like, oh, I knew what the roller coasters were before we went. I was ready to ride
Yeah.
Alpengeist and
Yeah.
Apollo's Chariot.
As I'm an
That's
adult,
great.
though, or the
Yeah.
older I got, rather, the loops ain't shit compared to that
The
anxiety
corkscrew.
of going
Oh,
up.
that too.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
anxiety of going up a roller coaster, because like the fall is way less worse than like your anxiety of when you're going up, because
Yeah.
like physics, like it can't be as severe as like what you're thinking it is, but like going up is so fucking scary.
Have you
I
ever
love
been
it,
on
though.
one that's like a boost start?
What do you mean?
Like, it doesn't lift you up. You just launch at like 60,
No.
70 miles
Yeah.
an hour.
Like,
Yeah.
the
I
shit
love
That
those.
sounds scary.
There was I frequented Six Flags in Jackson, New Jersey.
Yeah, I've been there.
a lot.
bunch.
My mom always got us season passes because she was always into like horror movies and stuff. And so
Ah.
October, it was like we have to go for Fright Fest. So I
Oh, what? We should go. That
oh,
sounds
it's so
fun.
fun. Well, I
Yeah.
remember it being
Yeah,
very fun when I
I
was a
wanna
child. But yeah, it's super fun. So always doing roller coasters. And I remember the Spider-Man, the Superman.
Oh,
That
the
was
flight. Yeah,
that was
one's
scary
awesome.
because you load into it, you pull the metal bars down, and then it makes you go so that you're parallel
To
to
the
the
ground. You're
ground.
flying
so you're
like
flying
Superman.
like Superman. And
Yeah.
Judy, who you know, I always have a story about Judy, was on it with her dad. And apparently, according to her, her dad was on it and she was next to him. And it like buckled out and he had to hold it close to him the whole time the roller
Oh.
coaster was going or he would have fell out.
My God.
Yeah.
No
Mm.
way. No
That's
way.
what she says. She'll swear on it.
I feel like knowing Judy, she would have like sued the fucking.
I think they did.
You
I think they did.
know?
I think they definitely did.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
King Day Ka is like a big boost. You boost off
Yeah,
at like
yes.
100 miles an hour and then go straight up 400 feet.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Whoa.
I'm more afraid of roller coasters in my elder years.
I think because I know engineers now, and I'm like, oh, you guys are
Yeah.
not that smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm
Oh,
like, no
I mean,
fear.
everything.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're building this?
I
And I'm supposed
mean-
to just trust you.
Well, I went to my college is a big pre-med school, so I know people who are doctors now. I think
Right.
as you get older, you just know people who are experts in fields that you trusted as a kid. Now
Yeah.
you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You ain't shit.
yeah,
Not
my
even just you ain't shit. It's just kind of like that guy like
You're
is
just
now
a guy.
although there was a guy in college I knew who was like one of the craziest people I knew, but it was also like a physics genius.
okay.
Just one of the like a crazy Russian guy.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
that- I mean, crazy Russian guy would crazy drinker and great at physics. That checks out.
Yeah. Have you guys seen those TikToks? I don't know why this has been shown to me so often, but I've seen like people going down water slides and then they get stuck in the water
Yes,
slide.
I've been seeing that.
Yes, and then they
Yeah.
have to like crawl down the other way, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
How humiliating.
I fucking love
You can't
water
even
slides.
get you must be this thin to get on a fucking
No,
giant
it's not.
tube.
Well, sometimes it is that, but other times it's that there's just not enough like velocity.
Yeah,
to get
there's
them
not enough
through.
velocity.
Oh,
that actually
that's-
wouldn't happen to a fat person because
Yeah.
physics would have
Well, I
them
do
go through
remember
faster.
when King Ka was new, or specific. So there's Cedar Point, Ohio, is a big roller coaster park in Ohio that I went to once as a kid, and they have a ride called Top Thrill Dragster that is the same ride as King Ka. Came out like 2 years earlier. King Ka was like, we're gonna make a ride that's 5 miles an hour faster and 10 feet higher, just so we can say we're the biggest, fastest. Totally cucked them.
Good.
But I remember I went on Top Thrill Dragster, and it's the same type of ride. Launch at 100 miles an hour, go straight up like 400 feet, and it was new the summer we went. So they knew not to send the next car until the first one was over because a couple times it didn't get over.
Oh my
and
God.
came back down, and those people got to stay on the ride. I thought they were lucky because I'm like, fucking, they got that launch like 2 or 3 times and got to fall backwards too. That's incredible.
That's so scary.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, for me, I'm also like scared of heights, so the anxiety and everything adds to like the excitement for me.
Yeah.
I do it. I miss like those roller coasters where it ends where you go off a giant hill and you splash into the water, like those kinds,
Like
like those
Splash
Mountain.
Mountain.
Splash
Oh,
Mountain.
yeah.
Wasn't Splash Mountain racist or some shit?
It was
It
based
was.
on Song of the South.
Yeah.
Which some people.
Well, I didn't catch the racism
when I was
when
on
I was
it.
a child doing the ride, and then
It's
I
the only
learned
reason I liked
the
it.
Song of the South. Yeah, it like has racial undertones.
But now it's like
Now it's something else.
they changed it.
Yeah, why don't they just change the song?
They got rid of Song of the South. They got rid of Splash Mountain, and they got rid of Haunted Hotel.
Yeah,
Tower
why'd
of
they get
Terror.
rid of that one?
They turned that one into like a Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wait, they got rid of
Oh.
the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
What?
It's just, is
Nothing
it still the
sacred.
same ride but called something different?
No, I think they're
It's-
remodeling
Tower of Terror
it.
was fucking
Because
awesome.
there's
Yeah,
a few.
that was
that
awesome.
shit
That was
so
scary as
awesome.
hell.
It
Yeah.
was so scary.
Yeah.
There's a few rides that they'll just keep, but they'll paint them a different color and change the name. Like Medusa and Six Flags became Bizarro.
Oh my God! Wow, I was just thinking about how much I loved Medusa as a kid. Now I
Yeah.
feel old.
Yeah, and I think there was in Universal Studios the Dueling Dragons. That's now
Damn.
like a Harry Potter ride.
Okay, all of the Harry Potter rides are fucking awesome. They
Yeah.
are amazing. They
Yeah.
are so cool.
The best part about the Harry Potter rides are no trans people are allowed on them.
I knew that's what you were gonna say.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
you were
I
like,
did.
What is it? What's the best thing about the Harry
I
Potter
knew it
ride?
because you've never been
And they
to
were like,
Universal.
Joe, trans people aren't allowed. My man, I fall in love with you more every day.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, mercy.
Have you ever been to
Mercy.
Six Flags New England?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I
Many
went
times.
there once, and I'm trying to. There's Superman Ride of Steel, I think, is it?
I don't know.
Oh, you wouldn't know.
I mean, I bet
You're not as
last time I was there, I was
autistic
like
about roller
13.
coasters
Yeah,
as I am.
I don't have the knowledge.
I know all of them.
No fucking idea.
Yeah.
You better stop. You better stop.
Finn got jealous.
I know the cat was getting all the glory.
But yeah, Kelly, you were saying you felt New Jersey pride.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't really know why. I think there's a lot of talent that comes out of New Jersey.
Yeah.
A lot
Who?
of my
Bon
Chemical
Jovi.
Romance.
Josh
My
Wells.
Chemical Romance.
Really?
Yeah.
Josh
Oh, wow.
Wells.
I don't know why I'm so surprised by that. Actually,
know.
I guess I think California when I think like
Yeah.
scene.
There
yeah,
was like
totally.
one. We watched that one My Chemical Romance documentary,
I watched
Yeah.
it and you sat next to me.
and and they were like,
That's
"We're
my
in the
thing.
we're in the Tenderloin of San Francisco, and someone just smoked crack."
No, they were talking about have you ever been like scared when you were out on the road, and he was like, the one time I was scared was that when we were in San Francisco in the Tenderloin, and this homeless guy came up to me and said, I can almost quote that documentary word for word because I watch it every year. But no, so don't try to paint them as some little pussies, okay?
They were scared.
They're my favorite.
Yeah.
But no, as far as New Jersey pride goes, there's just a lot of funny people. And it's funny that you said Bon Jovi because we went down to D.C. where my brother lives
Yeah.
for Mother's Day weekend. And my brother's husband was asking Joe, or asked Joe, did you receive a list of things that you're not allowed to talk about when you met Kelly and Frank's parents? And he was like, no. And Frank was like, oh, I gave him a whole list of things like not to bring up. And Bon Jovi was one of them because
You can't bring up Bon Jovi
you can't
around
bring
your
up Bon
parents.
Jovi because around like around my grandparents,
Yeah.
really. Because if they don't like something, they'll make you feel stupid for liking it
Yeah.
or for even bringing it up. And like it's one of those things of it's like even though literally I'm from Sayreville, which is where Bon Jovi is from.
Yeah.
It's like that you can't bring it up because they like hate him so much.
What are they,
What?
jealous or something? Yeah.
I don't know. I know that my
Are
dad
they
went
going to be musicians? Like, what's the
It-
deal?
Maybe they got some bad
he's
medicine.
too liberal or something. You know, he's too liberal. My dad went to high school with him his freshman year also.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, he went to St. John's,
Papa.
but Bon Jovi was kicked out freshman year. So-
Why?
He was
I don't
giving
know.
love a bad name.
Sure. I'm too tired, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I forget what I was saying.
That's crazy.
Other talent from Jersey. There's Bruce.
A lot of good comedians. A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
funny people.
Yeah.
Namely me.
Um,
No. Yeah, funny
yeah.
people.
Joe,
a lot
do
of
you
good
have
venues.
Joe? You have San Francisco pride, or where would you say you're from? Because you've been a few places. San Francisco.
Yeah, it would have to be San Francisco.
Yeah. Do you have San Fran pride?
Yeah, the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, who else?
The Richard Ramirez.
No, I think that was L.A., wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that was more.
Yeah,
LA.
that
I
was
think
more
he
LA.
started in San Francisco.
Oh, he
though.
started in San.
Yeah.
He got his start in
Yeah,
San Francisco.
Charles Manson got his start dosing people with LSD in
Yeah.
Golden
Yeah.
Gate Park.
That's
There
who
you
you
go.
model your life
A lot of
after.
young talent hangs out in San Francisco
Yeah.
before they make it
Yeah.
big.
Golden State Killer.
Yeah, well, you can't get big and you can't get famous in San Francisco. You can develop talent, but you got to go elsewhere.
You can get famous in San Francisco, but you're not going to get famous outside of San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
But you're very popular in San Francisco.
Oh, that's true.
Like you talk to if any time I've ever like come across a comic and they say they're from San Francisco and I'm like, oh, you know Joe Gorman's, like, do I? I'm like, he's not that great.
Calm down. You might think that.
Yeah, it is in New York. I feel more Queens pride than New York City pride. Because anytime I meet someone who's like, I hate New York City, I'm like, we'll probably get along. But if someone's like, I hate Queens, I'm like, you motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
'Cause
don't-
yeah.
I always felt like a little weird when people are like, because anytime I would like travel, like I remember one time in college, I took a trip with my class to London, and when they would ask where we were from, we would just say New York because it's better
Yeah.
than
It's
saying
easier,
New Jersey,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Also, they know what that is. They're like,
exactly. But like, if you are someone from New Jersey and you even hint that you may be, from New York, even though you are from New Jersey, people take umbrage with that. They don't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I live in Jersey City now, but lived most of my life in New York, and I'm still now in the city every day for everything I do. But yeah, some people are still like, nope, you live in Jersey.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Jersey City is the same as living in.
It always felt like another borough, the Hoboken, Jersey City.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jersey
still
City,
counts to
Hoboken
me.
is more New York than city than
I think
Staten
Jersey-
Island.
I think
It's more than
once you're
Staten
not-
Island.
Once you're not, yes, correct. But
Yeah.
then once you're not like in Jersey City or Hoboken and you're beyond that, then you're officially Jersey.
Yeah.
in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yes. Like Montclair.
Yeah.
Is that's not where you're from, is it?
Yeah.
No, that's where I went to college.
Oh, okay. Montclair State.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, we've done some comedy fight clubs there. You ever been to the Meat Locker?
Yes. I used to go to the Meat Locker.
That's a wild venue.
I
We've
know,
got
I
some
love
fun
it
shows
there.
there, but it's
I always saw bands
Yeah.
I didn't know the names of.
yeah.
when I went to the
That
Meat
seems like
Locker.
a place that would have
Yeah.
shows with bands you'll never know the name of.
I always felt not cool enough to be there.
Really?
Always, yeah.
Well, that
too-
makes
too
me feel way
buttoned
better
up.
about the shows we've done there. Because I have a lot of fun, and I'm like, God, I can never like tell anybody that I did a show here.
No,
but
that's
now-
so cool.
It is?
I mean, maybe in 2010,
Okay.
I thought it was
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The guys that I would want to date would hang out at Meat Locker. You know, like very underground.
yeah,
You
I
know.
can see that.
Had long
Joe,
hair. and
you've done shows
mustaches.
at Meat Locker, right?
Years ago, maybe. I
But
think
does
we
he know
did.
how to
Yeah.
play guitar?
I do.
I feel like you would be like a savant at like piano,
Wouldn't
and
that
I
be
wouldn't
funny?
know it.
Yeah.
That
I
would
wouldn't
be
tell
really
you.
funny,
Right?
actually.
Do you ever play any instrument growing up,
Yeah,
Joe?
the skin flute, baby.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. Classic. No, I remember how you had to play like the recorder in like elementary school.
Yeah.
I never learned that shit. I
Yeah.
always
Really?
just pretended to play it. Yeah. I'm
Oh.
like, I don't want to learn how to play hot cross buns.
Oh my god, dude, there is some fucking bitch.
Oh.
There is some bitch underneath me who apparently has like her music teacher come over every day and just hot cross buns. It's every single day, hot cross buns. And it's been like years. And I'm like, it's time to graduate
Yeah.
Take it up
from
to
hot
a-
cross buns.
Take it
Still
up a
doing
level.
hot cross buns.
I could
Yeah.
probably do that one. That's like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, like
1, 2.
I never even
three.
learned recorder.
You didn't do the recorder?
I went to
do the
shitty
clarinet?
ass Catholic school that they didn't give you
You couldn't rent a
instruments.
clarinet.
You had to like sign up for an extra class. And my parents were like, "We already paid tuition. We're not doing anything extra."
Yeah.
You know what? I wish I never learned how to play.
I mean, I remember having like the recorder and the xylophone. It was interesting because my dad's like a Juilliard grad, like classical pianist. We grew up with the
Really?
piano in the house and
Wow.
all. Never like pushed it on us in any way.
Do you regret that now? Or are you like, Dad, I wish I could play, or no?
Not really.
I wish I
Yeah.
could play an instrument.
I wish I could play
Yeah.
it.
I
I think that'd be
wish.
so cool.
I mean, I think it would be cool to do it, but I see my dad practice, and I know how much work goes into it, and
Yeah.
I don't think I would go back and take away the time I was playing baseball and basketball and be
Yeah.
like, I wish I spent that time practicing the piano.
right,
Yeah,
right.
not really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You,
But-
you had to be practicing wrestling moves on your little brother.
I did.
Yeah.
There is a home video somewhere of before I was ever even wrestling of just like we fought about something. My parents are like, all right, now hug and make up, and then I hugged him, and you hear me go, let's wrestle, and him go, no, as I throw him to the ground.
That's so cute. What a delightful little.
Yeah, I think I like made my
Video.
dinosaur eat his dinosaur or something, and he was crying, and we had to apologize.
That's
So I just
so
ate his
cute.
dinosaur and then wrestled him to the ground. But yeah, I remember one year at summer camp, my dad was the music teacher at the summer camp
Yeah.
and had to pull me aside because I was making too many jokes because I knew I can get away with it because it was my dad as the teacher.
Yeah, so true.
And then he was like, Matt, I'm trying to teach here. Like,
Yeah, you gotta.
You're going to this camp for free because I'm doing this.
I'm a Juilliard grad, okay? And
Yeah.
I'm going to be pompous about that for the rest of my fucking life. You
Dude,
can
I
shut
mean, sometimes he would like, because he ended up teaching. He did a couple of concerts back in the day, and then got into teaching, working with the Board of Ed. And he sometimes he would do like the assemblies. So he's like this Juilliard classically trained musician who's like, all of a sudden I hear him practicing like Lady Gaga songs.
Yeah, yeah.
For a kid's like assembly.
up. Right.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. I mean, I definitely wish I could play the piano. I think it's fun.
I think
It's
it's
impressive.
yeah, it's an impressive thing to do. But with anything that's impressive to do, doing it's impressive. All the work that goes into it is not fun.
Yeah, yeah. Comedy is either humiliating or like very cute and like
Yeah.
hot.
It'd be cool if you could practice it alone in your room, but
Yeah.
you can't. You have
Yeah.
to do it.
You
in front
have
of
to
other
go and
people.
humiliate yourself
How's the
over
video?
and over.
Well, that's the thing also, like, anytime you do, like, mixed shows or mics, when there's, like, people playing songs or whatever, it's like,
Oh my god.
even if it's bad, everyone's going to clap before and clap after.
yeah,
You don't feel the bomb the way you,
No.
like, you get to practice at home. You, like, every joke is, like, you have to hear a response or no response.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the funniest compliment that people give comics is they're like, "Oh, they're really they're really comfortable in the silence."
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
And I'm like, "Dude, that's so mean."
You had really
That's
good
so fun."
energy.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have really great energy,
Kill
especially
me.
when no one's laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to recover.
Oh, that's cruel.
Yeah. Well, I will say also, yeah, it is interesting. Like with bands, like you don't know if they're killing or not. Like they just play the song and especially if it's a slow band. Like I
Yeah.
saw, like I went to Jazz Fest a few weekends ago, and we saw like the Lumineers, which is like the slowest
Oh.
fucking whitest band in
Okay.
the world.
Yeah.
And they're singing and it's great, but everyone's just sort of like,
Yeah,
And I'm
bop, like shoegazing.
yeah. And I'm like, to the band, they're probably like, is this the worst thing they've ever seen, or is this amazing? I don't know.
I feel like a good indicator on if you're doing well or not is if people are singing along. 'Cause Then they know your songs. But
Yeah,
true.
but you could also be playing bad. I don't know enough about the technical side of music. In general, my relationship with music is very shallow. Like, I
Yeah.
like songs. I'll, say I like a band and then realize I only know, their top 5 singles.
oh yeah.
So I don't know if a band is good musically or not. I don't necessarily know. I'm just
kind
like,
of
oh,
gla-
I like Rollin' by Limp Bizkit, so I like Limp
Yeah.
Bizkit.
I'm kind of glad I don't know because I feel like I've become such a comedy snob that
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's hacky, that's hacky. And then like my friends will be like, oh, this person's amazing, and I'm like, I hate you forever.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Where
Yeah.
like with music, I can just enjoy it because
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
ignorant.
That's why I don't hate people who like bad comedy because I love Fast and Furious movies.
True, true.
I'm seeing Fast 10 this week, and I have not been this excited since I saw Fast 9.
This is the final one too.
Yeah.
Is it the final one? They
Yep.
Well, how
finally
can,
put it
half
into
of the
say.
fucking
bed.
cast is dead now. How could it not be?
Is this the first one since Paul Walker's been?
No, like
No.
the third
No,
one.
there's
they
been,
did a
like-
weird CGI thing with like his brother or some shit, right?
It was something like that for like the very last scene. He just like there's a CGI Paul Walker, and then he drives off as that fucking is it Wiz Khalifa song?
Oh,
Something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, he turned to Vin Diesel and was like, I gotta go have sex with my teenage bride.
Yeah.
And then he just drives off.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like Paul Walker was like grooming like a fucking teenager.
Wow.
The
Was
mother
he
of his
really?
child
Is
was
that
like a
why
fucking
there,
teenager.
there's
Seriously? I
rumors
didn't
that
know
his
that.
death is fake?
No, it death wasn't fake.
Well, there's
was-
like
He was
conspiracy
murdered.
theories about it.
He was murdered.
It
Moidard.
was actually kind of interesting how didn't he die in a crash?
A
Yeah,
car
like a
accident.
car
And
crash.
I'm like, okay, it's a little too
like
on
the
the
one thing
nose.
you're good at.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It would be like if Chris Hemsworth died via hammer.
I mean, hey, Joan Rivers died in surgery. Died in
Yeah.
labor.
Yeah.
Poor Joan.
That was
Aw,
sad,
poor
though.
Joan.
Yeah.
She was getting nodes removed on her vocal cords
Why? Why would she do that?
because her voice sounded the way it sounded. And when do you do that much damage to your voice? You have to, you'll lose your voice entirely if you don't fix the
But wait,
notes.
why? I mean, she's not like she's like a fucking opera singer. Just sound old.
I think you really can lose your voice to the point of like not being
especially
able to
as a
talk.
performer.
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
like
yeah.
putting emphasis on. My mom used to watch Fashion Police all
Oh,
the time.
I loved
I would
Fashion
watch
Police.
it
Yeah,
just
it's
because
so
of how
funny.
funny Joan Rivers
That's
She
why
was
I
is.
so
watched
fucking
it.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
her
God.
fucking daughter Melissa was nothing to throw out of bed, huh, Matt?
Nothing to shake a stick at.
Nothing
I
to
would-
throw out of bed. The standard for women is most of them I would throw out of bed, but not Melissa Rivers.
That's right.
Wait, that's so sad. She was literally silenced.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Poor Joan.
Cancel culture strikes again.
There
Yeah.
was also I watched
All because
a-
she spoke out against trans.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, she wasn't even around long enough to be.
No,
doing
she
that.
made the
No,
Mich-
she
she
did
made a
make some
Michelle
comments.
Obama
yeah,
joke.
Yeah, she made. She
Oh.
called him. She called her Michael Obama, I think.
That's so funny.
classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Classic
Classic
Joan.
Joan.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "See you in hell, Joan Rivers," and then she died, and then we're like, "R.I.P. Joan." What a
Yeah.
fucking, what a fucking queen.
Dude, yeah, it's so funny how many people will, with like older comedians, at a certain point, if they become legendary, because so many of those people are just saying the thing they think enough other people want them to say,
Yeah.
that they will go after someone hard and then, oh, what an icon when they die,
Yeah, of
if that is
course.
the popular thing to say.
Oh
at the
no,
time.
Of
I don't
course,
think it
of
was
course.
popular to say she was an icon at the time of her passing.
Really?
I think people that liked her enough did, but I
Yeah.
think the people that hated her still hated her
Mm.
because she
That's
was mean.
so whatever.
I
She's
know.
funny.
No,
was
I think it was
funny.
still like she was like looked at as like this progressive, like, oh well, she was gonna host
the
Tonight
first,
Show.
yeah.
So
And
it's like,
yeah, I mean, also like at that time, being a woman actually mattered.
Yeah,
and I think it was like because like she
So-
died around the same time Roseanne was canceled, so people needed like somebody,
Someone
to,
else
like,
to latch onto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roseanne, what an icon! Talk about an icon.
she's an
Yeah.
icon.
Yeah,
She's
that
cool.
one is,
Fucking love
yeah,
Roseanne.
Roseanne.
I loved Roseanne.
Yeah, she's great.
That show was
Also,
amazing.
I love how that show got like the second iteration of it or whatever got canceled.
They
because
kept it going.
Yeah, but I mean, they were like, oh, like this is like a Trump supporting family. It's like, yeah, this like represents a lot of this
This is
country. Like that's actually
Midwestern.
very interesting.
Yeah,
It's
what
like,
if we had a working class family?
Right? No,
and
can't be
that
working
did
class.
not did not think in the same way that any of the 50% of this country does.
Right,
Like,
right.
No,
But
no.
we're poor. We have no money. We're working paycheck to paycheck. Can't believe they'd be Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no shit.
I'm a
Right.
Trump supporter.
Yeah, I mean the
I'm DeSantis, and I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
the actual human being that the entire show was based on is a Trump
Is-
supporter.
Yeah.
And now, well, she's back, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, she is
With the
back.
Did you
Fox
see her
News-
new special?
The Fox
I
News
know.
comedy.
To watch
I'm
it,
back, and I'm
honestly.
calling every black woman a monkey.
Oh, no.
And they're like, "What are you gonna do? Cancel me again? I'm Roseanne."
And the funniest
Good for
thing,
her.
The funniest thing though is like the joke that was previewed for the special was like, you
My
know who's a
pronoun.
woman? Yeah, you
My
know.
pronouns are kiss my ass.
Yeah, you know who's a woman? Me. It's like okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude! Finally, saying it like it is.
Yeah, all
If it
right.
wasn't for Roseanne, I might have fucked a man at some point.
Does Roseanne have
Ooh.
a husband and
Yeah.
kids?
Tom
She has
Arnold.
kids. She has
She
kids.
does. Oh wow.
Well, Tom Arnold was her husband.
Oh,
Aren't they
okay.
still
Yeah.
married?
No.
Aw,
Tom
that's
Arnold.
so sad.
Tom Arnold's one of the few shakers
Tom
we have
Arnold's
left.
a libtard.
Is
He's
he
a
really?
libtard,
Yeah.
and he was dating Roseanne.
He
Well,
was
not
married
at the
to
time.
Roseanne.
He wasn't at the time when he was married. I don't think it was.
Well,
the case.
conservatives hated Roseanne.
Conservatives
back in the
hated
day.
Roseanne because she
She,
was a
like-
mouthy broad.
Yeah, and she also sang the national anthem terribly, and then
Yeah.
like scratched her fake balls and spit as
Well,
she was out
and
there.
she was like,
It always fucking flips. It
and
always
well, she
flips.
was
really
she
does.
was
Yeah.
liberal by 1980 standards too.
Yes.
She was like, I'm a woman and I put a meal on the stove and
Yeah.
I tell my husband to fucking make food.
Listen, based.
Yeah.
She's based.
Yeah.
Based.
Back in
I
the,
love
I
her.
miss the '80s when liberals and conservatives both agreed that black people look like monkeys.
And that was
No,
the
no.
good old days.
Matt Maron's comments do not reflect locker room talk.
Yeah, yeah.
How about that? I thought the
I'm not
bitch
here.
was white. It's like, well, you know what? Give her a fucking break then. And
Yeah.
like,
Wait,
let's
who did
admit-
you think? Who did you?
That
who
was
did she
the
think
whole.
Was
That was
Roseanne said that.
Roseanne's thing. She
Yeah.
got in trouble for doing a monkey joke about a
Oh,
black
right,
woman.
Yeah.
right, right.
And then they were
Her
like, well,
defense.
and now because like she actually looks like a monkey, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
if they just were said like, if
What
it was
if-
a white woman, like
What
you
about the story that my dad told us
Nice.
the other night when we were home for Billy's graduation party?
Hey, Finny,
Um,
enough. Hey,
stop.
cool it.
The story my dad told about my friend's autistic son. So
Oh,
my friend,
yeah.
my mom's friend, her son is autistic and works in a grocery store, and he's probably my age, but like very autistic. So he's like enough to have a job, like he can have a job, but like still lives at home, and like you're kind of like talking to a middle schooler. There was this woman in there with her baby, and he was like, "Oh, so cute. He looks like a little monkey." And it was a little black kid.
Oh goodness.
Oh.
Yeah. And so like it
Oh.
was a big deal. He almost got fired and everything till they explained like this is like a disabled person essentially.
Yeah.
And so my dad was telling us that
It
story.
was the disabled person who said the monkey line.
the autistic kid.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And
then
he almost got
said-
fired.
Yeah.
He almost
Yeah.
got, but
Yeah.
he was able to save his job. The woman was irate, and then understood eventually, like, okay,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like everything
Which
was able to
makes,
level
but that's
out.
actually really nice that she like took it back and was able to understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
'cause
mean,
it's like,
'cause,
he's kind of an animal too.
Yeah.
he's an animal.
He's
'Cause I
like,
can
I guess we
understand
were
being
both
irate."
wrong.
At first.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, fucking
The Roseanne.
the
yeah.
Roseanne thing.
Well, at first there was, I thought the bitch was white, and people were like, "What? I was on Ambien."
Wait,
what?
who was she talking about though?
Valerie Jarrett. She was like someone in the Obama administration.
Oh, wow.
I
Who's,
don't
like
even
mixed
remember.
She's like mixed race, I think. So she's like light skin.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
That's like Meghan Markle. I'm like, you look Irish.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Like, you genuinely look like an Irish woman.
Yeah, she looks like a fucking regular white. I found out Michelle Wolf is a fucking white woman.
Yeah, you didn't know this?
No, I thought she was fucking black.
Are you
I
serious?
thought the bitch was black.
Are you serious?
I thought Michelle Wolf was like black or
That's
something.
so funny because
Wait,
I
you
remember
thought she
seeing.
was black?
I
I
saw.
thought she was something.
I saw her live
She's
once,
Jewish,
and she was
right?
like, "No, I
No,
don't know. She's
she's
just
Irish.
a white woman. She's an Irish woman. She looks more black
Well,
than
she's fucking. She leans
Meghan
into
Markle.
that. She leans into that black thing.
Well, she just likes black guys. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What a
Looks
crime.
like it's
She-
contagious.
I
She
feel
had
like
a
she leans
joke
into
where
the-
she was like, "Everybody thinks I'm black," and I was like, "They do?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "What?"
Evidently.
I didn't think that.
Yeah.
I thought Jewish. She has Jewish mother energy to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She
Yeah.
I can
has
see
a
that.
nice shoe collection.
She black.
She's black. She's black Irish.
She's as
Black
black as the
Irish.
sky on a moonless night. Yikes.
That's one way to say it.
That's the only way to say it.
Yeah.
Damn, Finn's
Damn.
going nuts, dude.
Yeah, he's having fun.
Yeah, he's excited. There's a lot of people here today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, Meghan Markle. You look Irish.
Yeah.
Props to her for escaping the Queen's fucking grasp. I thought for sure she was going to end up in a car accident.
Yeah,
Wasn't
I
there
guess
like a
so.
chase recently?
That's what they say. So that there's like this whole new controversy where they say they're like, we got chased down in New York
By
and
the
oh my
media.
god, like the media was after us and it was so like a million collisions, and then they interviewed the guy who was driving them and he was like, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Dude, they're so
They were
dumb.
like-
Like
were
trying
we
to
were-
like recreate Princess Diana's
Yeah,
demise.
they were like, we were
yeah.
in traffic. I don't know.
I think it's an interesting thing where like
traffic.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my friends who's been watching the Netflix series, and his take on Harry and Meghan is that they want to just be like nice, famous people
Yes.
without much craziness.
Yeah.
But it's tough because like, and also the British press and like the royal press is fucking insane.
Absolutely.
So, but it's tough where it's kind of like you don't want that at all, but you still want a level of fame that most people will never get.
Right.
So it's a little bit annoying to, I think, everybody who just doesn't have any attention that you're like, we just want to be famous and not have to deal with the craziness. It's like, yeah, so does everyone else.
Right, right.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You think that you're going to be famous and not have, people all up in your business?
I do think that from what I've seen, the royal press is different than a lot of other press.
I mean, they
famous
kill
people
Princess
get.
Di. Let's be real.
And
they
just like
are
taking
bad.
secret pictures of their baby and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. It's I mean, there is like National Enquirer and other stuff, but I think everybody would love the idea of like, oh, why can't I just be in a royal family, have all the money I could ever want, be
Nice,
famous,
dude.
But not
and-
live by the rules.
and not have people do terrible things to me.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a good ideal. I don't blame them for wanting it, but I also don't blame people for being like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what they want, and I'm fine with them just having their little fancy house in LA or wherever they're living now.
In the ghetto next to Tyler Perry and Oprah.
yeah. And I think I'm just kind of done hearing about them. I don't know what they're doing for the world.
Yeah.
I don't know what entertainment they're putting
Medea
out.
meets a prince. Is that the next movie?
I'd rather hear more about Tyler Perry. I gotta tell you that he's made
Yeah.
me laugh a lot more.
Yeah. Prince
Yeah.
Harry, fucking wake me up when you dress up like a Nazi again.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was
That
fucking
was
awesome.
Yeah.
insane.
That was
sick,
yeah.
dude. And he was like, "Oh, my mom died, so whatever."
Yeah.
So much like all these like famous like Justin Trudeau doing brown face a lot and blackface a lot. Like so many of these like powerful people, I'm like, fucking now the idea of like a rich person party is so stuffy and boring. I'm like,
Right.
there must have been a point where they were fucking awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
Everyone was doing
I'll eat a
blackface,
baby. I'll do blackface.
dressing
I'll
like
do whatever I
Nazis.
do.
Like, damn.
There was also oh my god, what's his name? He's the gay guy from this recent show. Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he in like 2011 or whenever.
right.
Do you
Yeah.
remember this?
Yes, I do.
Amy Winehouse died,
Yeah.
and then he commissioned literally this was like months after her death. He commissioned a cake that said the corpse of Amy Winehouse, and it looked like her dead. And people like ate this
Jesus.
cake,
Yeah.
and everyone was just like, "Yeah, okay."
At
And
the
it's like,
time, that was like an okay joke.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
and, like,
Halloween every year is now people like, oh, who's gonna fuck up this year? It used
I
to be
know.
who's gonna go for it this year.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it's sad. Let people go for it. Let people
Yeah.
make fun of death.
I think it's
Yeah, I
always
agree.
just
Although that is really
Someone will
Yeah.
always see. Someone will always see what you're doing is in poor taste.
yes, but the thing is, it's all with Twitter. We just see more of those people, but it's still just the one annoying person in the friend group.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
real.
It feels like more because there's so many people that if like 5,000 people are mad on Twitter, that's still like fucking 0.001%.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
But it's enough where like corporations are so dumb that they listen to it.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
scared.
it's weird
Twitter-
because like Twitter, I deleted Twitter as best thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
jealous of
so good about myself.
God
I was just
damn.
like this, like I immediately felt better.
Yeah.
And I was just like thinking, I was like, if everyone on Twitter could understand, like my mood literally went from like here to like here, like
Yeah.
immediately once it was deleted. It was so much better. And I'm like, there's something wrong with like specifically that platform because of
Yes,
the anonymity.
it's the
about
most
it.
toxic.
I don't know why. It's like it's attracted so many like social justice warriors in the worst way.
It's just
Yeah.
it's the most where someone says an idea they have, and even if it's crazy enough, other crazies will like it
Yes.
and retweet it.
And then
so
you're
I
like,
think,
oh my god, 50 crazies.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it encourages craziness
Yeah.
with its algorithm more so than and not fun craziness. I always
Yeah.
thought a Facebook comment section was fun craziness.
It
Yeah,
it
yeah.
creates like the worst kind of echo chamber.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
Facebook
Every
comments
kind of
is
take.
Facebook comments is a group of your peers
That too,
discussing
yeah.
something, whereas like Twitter is just like
Randos.
a bunch of people experiencing groupthink and being
Yeah.
like, oh, well,
Yeah.
that's what that comment says about this.
Well,
so I'm
and
gonna
also like
reinforce
speaking
that.
of Meghan Markle, I wrote I put on a tweet out once that was like, oh, like if this Oprah thing taught me anything, is that she's a really bad actress. I was like, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I just put it out there to be in the zeitgeist. Who cares? I was like, this is what's going
Just
on
a
right now.
joke.
I tweeted about what's going on. I got called a racist. It was probably my biggest tweet I ever had. The
Yeah.
thing blew up, okay?
Because you said Meghan Markle's a bad actress.
Yeah, and I got like a million people being like, "You're a racist. You're like all these fucking strangers I didn't know, and
Yeah.
I had never been called a racist before, and I was like, "What
Sorry.
the fuck is going on?" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're not racist because of that joke.
Yeah, exactly. You should see my act. No, but I mean, honestly, I was like, "This is insane," and then I didn't know how to deal with it, so I started like fighting back, and Mark was like, "Oh God," he was like, "You can like, no one's gonna be like, oh, never mind."
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Oh,
Has Mark-
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has Mark had enough of those where he was able to advise you through it?
Yeah, Mark's like, listen, Twitter, let Twitter be Twitter.
Because
And
he's
like,
good. He's good on Twitter because he
Yeah.
posts a lot of just quick, punchy
Yeah,
stuff.
and he's like, listen, we go for it, whatever. And then he was like, I don't even look at the comments anymore because sometimes he'll post something and people are like, oh, this stinks or you suck. And he's
Yeah.
like, that hurts too. But then other people will be like, you're a horrible person.
Yeah.
And you should rot in hell and you should
Yeah.
go to prison.
Being called a horrible person is different than your joke sucks.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's had enough experience that he's like, listen, just don't
Don't engage with it.
The-
Don't take it seriously.
don't take
yeah.
it seriously. Like the people that take the time to post those kind of things are insane. So
Yeah.
just-
Anyone that like
Yes.
puts their I don't know, just like you put content on YouTube, but like to or Twitter or anywhere, and just like for people like to weigh in, just to be like this sucks, or even to say this is cool. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
dude, get a life.
I don't think I've ever
don't comment. Don't
yeah.
engage on.
I don't think I've
anything.
ever commented on
With
a
that
YouTube
said,
video.
like and subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like and comment on this YouTube
Yeah.
video.
Hell
Even if
yeah.
you hate it,
Yeah.
tell
but-
us.
but
Unless
yeah.
you constantly post that one of my friends should kill himself. in that case, it's like, all right, put that on my own YouTube. Don't put it
Yeah.
on. Don't put it on the podcast one.
Yeah. But yeah, it is just. I always think when there's like people mad about something or like you shouldn't do that. I always think back when I was in elementary school. There was every Easter we would all do like the painting the Easter eggs thing, give
Ooh.
out
Oh,
free
that's
chocolate,
fun.
giving out free chocolates and everything. I'm Jewish. I don't care. We got free candy.
Yeah.
None of us cared. One Jewish kid's mom said something, and then
Oh.
like the next year we weren't doing it, and we were all just like, "Fuck! Why did she ruin our fun?"
Yeah.
And I think there's one of those in every town.
Yeah.
And
Jew?
when yes,
The town Jew.
Yeah.
when that one annoying person in every town get together on Reddit or Twitter, we
Yeah.
think that it's now a thing that a lot of people think. It's like
And it's just the
most
one
people
person.
don't like that person.
Right.
There's way more people who don't like that person than there are that
Yeah.
person.
Yes, completely.
I don't know if this is exactly the same because Florida is an interesting state.
Yeah.
But there is a teacher right now that is being investigated by the Florida Board of Education because I forget what she was teaching, but she was able to show this Disney movie, something about the not the universe, like the environment.
Yeah.
I forget the fucking name of the movie, maybe Far Away or something. But in the movie, there is, I think, a gay character, which is touched on for less than like 90 seconds. It's not a big part of the movie, but the character is gay. And it was a movie that was like, now in Florida, you have to like, or maybe it's everywhere, but I know definitely in Florida, this never happened when I was a kid, but like movies now need to be like, you have to have like a permission slip to watch a certain
What?
movies.
I think
Really?
like
Yeah.
for certain movies you had to when I went to high school, like if it was like an R, we had to get parent permission to watch Glory because it was an R-rated movie, and the teacher wrote like this like a long letter to the parents explaining like in this scene there's some violence and racial slurs, but I believe it really encapsulates what America was like at the time and will be a good learning experience and open up an important discussion. And parents sign off, and like a handful of kids didn't, and they left the class, but it was then. But like it's weird that the idea is like if it's like PG-13 or then it's whatever, but for R you need like
the
parent
one
permission.
the one movie where there was a permission slip that went out was The Passion of the Christ. Mel Gibson's.
Yeah.
They made, you
Wait,
went to a,
are
you
you
went to a
serious?
Catholic
Oh,
school,
that's
right?
so
I went
funny
to
that you
Catholic
guys
school.
watched that. I've never seen that before.
Oh,
That was a
I've watched
banger.
it many times.
Was it good?
It was powerful.
It was. It
Really?
actually is
Yeah.
a pretty good movie.
It's a
I just
powerful
remember being
film.
like, "Why is Jesus so hot?"
I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, get him. Rip that Jew apart.
Stop.
Get him, Romans.
I remember.
Also, there's
every
not a lot
time-
of there's not a lot of movies where Jews seem like they're capable of murder. So
Yeah, it was
kinda
so
cool.
funny
That
how
was
he
kind
made
of
Like,
cool
this
to
is
see.
empowering too.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's just like
Yeah.
Uncut Gems and Passion of the Christ. That's all we got.
Dude, Passion of
Uncut
the
Gems
Christ,
is
the way
Passion.
Mel Gibson shot the Jews
Yeah.
to make them look so evil in
Yeah.
that. It was so wild.
That's
it was
insane.
pretty true to the Bible. That's
Yeah.
how I remember learning how it happened.
I think
Anyways.
I think we did a permission slip, or had to ask parents. We watched because we read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, then we watched the movie, which
Nice.
has
So like
that's-
in
yeah.
Catholic
Oh,
school,
yes, same. I watched
because-
that too.
because it's a private institution,
Yeah.
there was no permission slip that
in
went out
college, yeah.
for One Flew Over the in
I think
high
we
school.
watched it in my high school.
Yeah, like there was no
Yeah.
permission slip because it's like you're a private school, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Um,
So the Florida thing.
So the Florida thing. So this is a Florida public school, and Florida has a lot of weird shit happening when it comes to like education and stuff.
Yeah.
Based
you,
on,
you,
like,
show-
you
they
forget Florida's part of the South. Like you think Miami.
I know.
Yeah.
And spring
Especially
break,
because like as
yeah.
someone that's from New Jersey, like going to Florida, it's like it's like sunny New Jersey.
yeah.
Like it's just like everyone that has grew up in New Jersey now lives in Florida. It's where
Yeah.
everyone goes to retire.
saying that so many old people in like my apartment building growing up is like, they got old enough that they
Well,
decided
time to go
move
to Boca.
to Florida.
Right, right.
Time to go to Boca.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this is happening currently. There was a teacher that showed a Disney film, and I know that one of the characters is depicted as gay.
Yikes.
Again, not a central theme of the story, just like a part of it.
Right.
And the only reason why I bring it up is because there was only one parent that had a problem with it, who is a part of like one of the members of the board. You know how that is, how like
Yeah.
the board is like just about like parents within
Yeah.
the school district, and it was just one parent that had a problem with it, one parent that made a big deal about it. The kid, by the way, had no issue with
Yeah.
the thing. They just went home and said, "This is what we did in school today. Leave his toy alone." And and now she's like being investigated by like the Department of Education over it because
Oh.
of one parent.
Nice.
What, the teacher who showed the movie is being
the
investigated?
the
That's
teacher who
so
showed the
awful.
movie.
Yeah.
That's so awful. Yeah.
Why are they? I mean, if they're gonna already show the kids Disney movies, they're gonna end up gay. So why it's like,
There's a lot of weirder shit about Disney, though.
yeah. Walt
that's more
Disney hated
covert.
Jews.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
There's some negative stuff about him though too.
his parks are overpriced.
Yeah. Yeah. The one parent thing,
one
one
parent
person being upset about something. Oh, also, that's always been my thing. Whenever anyone would talk about college campuses, you can't do comedy in front of these college kids anymore. That was like getting big when I was in college, and I started doing stand up my senior year of college. I would do like the talent shows in the dorm.
Yeah.
And when I was new, I wasn't as good as I am, so I just liked politically incorrect jokes.
Right.
And was kind of just saying fucked up one-liners.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how you
And
always
they
start.
did really well. The kids loved them. What happens is when they're like, oh, someone complains, because those are like the shows put on by the student government and the
Yes.
Right.
board that the parents put in money to. So if anyone complains, it becomes a big deal. If anyone complained at the dorm talent show, no one gives a shit.
Right.
So
right.
I performed for college kids with like kind of edgelord type stuff, and
Nice.
it crushed.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, and it was like in New York. It wasn't like fucking somewhere in the
But
South
you also
or
weren't
whatever.
being paid for the dorm college
Yes,
show. And
I
when,
wasn't-
when you're the talent being paid.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. I wasn't being paid. It wasn't put on by the student government. It wasn't out of tuition money. So
Yeah.
even if anyone were to complain, it couldn't go anywhere. But just the idea of like these sensitive college kids, is like, no, even now when they're like young people, the Gen Z, they're really sensitive. I'm like, I feel like a lot of them are still, a lot of them
like-
are cool.
They're
Kinda the
fine.
powers
It's
that
just
be.
like there's one person that has a big Twitter following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it makes it seem like terrible.
Yeah, I'm on
That calls
TikTok
it
enough
out.
that I see like young people with like dark joke TikToks.
Right.
That's the whole thing, is just saying dark racist jokes to each other and seeing who will laugh first.
Well,
and
it's
they're like
like-
fucking 18-year-olds.
It's like Adrienne Appalucci just posted about how
I
she
saw
was
that.
doing a charity gig out in Connecticut, the least funniest state in the United States.
True.
Except for the
And-
shows Kelly and I are doing
Except
next
for the,
week.
I'm going to Manchester, Connecticut this
Yeah,
Thursday.
and we got
Actually,
we have,
this will be out.
yeah, we have a comedy fight club on Saturday, but this will be out
will be out.
also in Connecticut.
Shout out to Connecticut. But she was doing a charity show in Connecticut and brought up a joke about, or like said a joke about pedophilia. And the organization had a pedophile scandal.
Bobby
And,
was in that organization?
What would you say?
I said Bobby was in that organization.
Well, it was Bobby's wife that complained, and they cut
Nice.
her mic and pulled her off the stage. Yeah.
Wow.
Cut her mic.
Cut
in
her
the
mic,
middle of
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Damn.
it just went, the mic just stopped working, and it was like, all right, I guess I'm done here.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
Ugh.
And
I've
it
done.
Was, it was the wife's. It was the wife of the pedophile that she was all up in arms.
That's
just
a ride
one
or
person.
die.
You
yeah.
know.
I remember I've done a few roast things for like these because roasting is in. You'll get these like
Yeah.
companies that are like, "Oh, we want you to come roast our product or roast our company."
Right.
They want to seem cool
Yeah.
and they want to seem down for anything, and they're never down for anything.
Oh,
yeah,
never.
never.
Yeah, and like there was one that was like a fitness company thing, and I did some joke where apparently no one said anything to me, but I saw a kind of fracas a bit after the show, and then the person who was talking to me had to like be the middle. I felt bad for them because they had to like get along with them, but also
Right.
they didn't care. It was like I mentioned the word fat.
Nice.
And it was
Okay.
something about they
God
didn't
forbid.
yeah,
Was it a Weight
it was
Watchers
some-
meeting?
What's that?
Was it a Weight Watchers meeting?
It was I don't remember what the company was even called, but it was something about I had some joke about their product not working and people still being fat after using it, something like that.
Right, oh,
but
right,
just
right.
using the term fat, they were like, we don't want anybody who uses our product to feel body shamed in any way.
Oh,
But
wow.
before that, they were telling me everything. I ran the jokes by the person who was my like liaison.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And
So it's
they,
his fault.
yeah, her
Oh.
fault.
Oh, there we
Yeah,
go. That's
yeah, she was actually very cool. Every time I've ever done one of these things with either some company, corporation, or whatever, the agent or the liaison is always like, "I like this, but we can't do it,"
Yeah.
or "I like this, let's do it," and then they get in trouble, and sometimes they'll throw me under the. I did hear the person who I did feel bad for them. I heard them talking to the person that was upset, going,
Yeah.
"Look, I had no idea he was gonna say."
Oh no.
Can you blame her though?
But then, yeah,
Can
came
you
to
blame
me
her?
and was like, "I'm sorry, whatever."
Yeah, she's trying to appease everybody. here.
Exactly. But it was very funny. I'm like, I emailed them all the jokes, and she's like, I had no idea he was gonna do that.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But
Fuck yeah.
anyway, May, where can people find you?
Oh, wow. People can find me on Instagram at Mae, MAE _Planert. PLANERT. And you can also follow my podcast, Risque Business News. We break down business scandals, that kind of thing.
It's a very good
Ooh.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's very
Uh,
funny.
You and Laura Sogar.
With me
also
and Laura
very funny.
Sogar, very funny.
nice.
So yeah, good times, and that's about it. Because I don't have a TikTok really, and I don't have a Twitter. So.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. And do you guys have a seltzer and bitters coming up?
Yes, actually. Well, no, it'll pass already.
Oh,
It's
it'll have
Wednesday.
happened already.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll post it tonight then.
Oh, okay.
What about
My
next
podcast
month?
is coming out on.
Yes.
It would have come out already. So this past Friday, May 26th, my podcast I Feel Fat Today is relaunching, and my very first guest is none other than the illustrious May Planert. So please tune into that. I'm
Hope
sure
you're not
this.
sick of me.
No, they love you. I'm sure this very like boy heavy podcast will be very happy to listen to two chicks talk about food and diets and stuff. But it actually is a really good podcast.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you should
I
check it
could.
out.
I was a wrestler. I have plenty of body issues. Like,
Excited
You
to
should
have
be
you
on the pod.
Yeah, 100%.
oh yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
I could do. Yeah, for
Hell
yeah.
sure. I feel fat today. If any, hopefully that's not too much body shaming. The word "fat" right in
the
the
name
title.
itself is extremely triggering. I've
Yeah.
already have experienced people
Yeah.
online not liking it.
Really?
Back when I first had
Yeah.
the podcast out, but it was
Some
my
fat
fault.
fuck
I went
up,
looking
man.
on
Fuck that
Reddit.
shit though. I think that's what makes it honest.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hell
All
yeah.
right.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bobby, I believe, will be back on the
No.
next free episode.
He's not
No.
allowed
He's
back.
out. He's fucking out. Folks, let us know in the comments who should be the new permanent third mic on Locker Room Talk. We'll tally the votes and have our new third mic next week.
If you vote for me, I'll send you a nude.
Ooh.
Same, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.